And hello, have I got the microphone on? Yes, yes. Good evening or morning, afternoon, good day. Hope you are all well. Now then, I've just done an unboxing for my patrons, which is showing some pretty cool stuff. To be honest with you, we've got things like the new single battery 21700 Squonker from Desire, the people that brought you the Rage. I did that one, and I've also shown off the new Geek Vape Amit mouth to lung RDA, as well as the new Spade 21700 from the lovely people at Vicious Ant. But those are things that we'll all be seeing much later on down the line. It's just something that I thought I'd let you know. But because of all of that, excuse me, because of all of that, I just wanted to put a little bit of content out, and this seemed to be an ideal piece of kit to do that with. And that's mainly because I haven't got a bunch of coils to keep testing it with, so I can't give it its full test. So this isn't so much as of a review as it is my kind of first opinions of it. I have had this for a little while, maybe a week or so, but no, I've had it for a little while, but this is my opinion of it. Like I said, I haven't got any spare coils, and this really annoys me when companies send stuff through to you where they want you to review stuff, but they don't give you a bunch of extra coils, because obviously I want to take coils apart. I want to be able to see which juices work better, and I don't want to be scared that I'm burning out a coil every 5 seconds. So that really bugs me. But there we go. So hello everybody in chat. Another reason for doing it this time of day, I didn't think many people would be here, so I thought that's kind of fun. Am I light enough, or am I a little bit too dark in here? I don't know. Let me just do that. No, I've got the wrong lens on. I've got the wrong lens on, gang. I've got the wrong lens on. And I think if I do that, I'm going to be just far too bright. Am I? I think there's no need for that at all, is it? Let's go back to back to life. Let's go back to being a little bit dark. Fuck it, that will have to do. Anyway, I'm using the DSLR, so that battery may run out at any given time. So I'm not going to dick about, to be honest with you. Let's get into it. So thank you very much to everybody in chat. I'm not going to be paying a whole massive attention into that unless I have to ban anyone for being a knob. So I will be doing a Monday Night Live tonight at 9 o'clock, and at that point I can have a good old chat with you lot then, if that's all right with you. But for today, what we're going to be looking at, fairly simple. Excuse me. Right, fairly simple, looking at the right things, boom. And here we jolly well go. So what we've got going on here is the UPenn. Now, I don't really do a great deal of sort of starter kits and all that sort of stuff, and I certainly don't do many pod systems because there's not many out there that really kind of strike me as being too fabulous. A couple of ones that I have really enjoyed recently have been the La Carte, which is from Jaywell, and one or two others, but no, this one, it sort of struck me as being something that's particularly impressive, and we will see it in a little bit more detail, even though it's black, in a minute. But this one struck me as something being particularly impressive because this one is possibly one of the new starter, or one of the new vapor, kind of the easiest things for a new vapor to pick up and actually have a good experience with, in my humble opinion, because I remember when I started vaping, I did not want lung hitting. I didn't understand what lung hitting was about. I was trying to sort of smoke, in inverted commas. I was trying to use my vape in the same way that I was using my cigarettes previously, and it was really difficult to do that because everything, it was just weird getting used to the draw, you know. And so I think this is where my passion for true mouth to lung things started to come into play. But when it comes to this I think is one of the few proper mouth to lung starter kits out there at the moment. Now, I don't know, we'll have to have a little look, unless anyone in chat knows how much these are, but we'll have to have a look in a second. Anyway, before I go into that, just going over the box, let me zoom in a little bit just to make it a little bit easier. Going into the box, all we've got, I could have sworn that was like really bad sign writing when I first saw it, because I thought that said Open, but it's actually UPenn. Digiflavor on there, black, super simple. Once again, we've got this kind of Apple-esque type of unboxing experience. Open it up like so, and the vapey thing is going in there. Excuse me, sorry for the coughing. I'm still not 100% well yet, but we're getting there. So once we take that out, can't really get the innards of the box out very easily. But in here, if I do this, we do have a cable. Oh, easy. But we also have one extra coil going on in here as well. Now, we've got the one extra, and I know I said they don't send you a bunch, but one isn't enough. One isn't enough, in my opinion, for a reviewer. I think we should all have many. Anyway, you've also got a bunch of O-rings going on in there as well, so jobs are fucking good. Now then, elsewhere in here, what we've got is a spare glass, which I think is really good, so well done on that. And we've got a little kind of a flat USB cable going on right there, so that's all fine and dandy. Now then, when it comes to looking at this itself, now it is, I think it's a pretty sexy little vape. Now then, I noticed that M16 says, what if school kids get hold of this Pendino? Absolutely. What if school kids got hold of it? What if parents were doing their proper jobs? And you know, a whole bunch of things. At some point in time, we have to kind of look at the fact that we can't make every single vape look the size of a house, because that's not what a starter wants. When it comes to the size comparison, there's a Sharpie there, pretty much the same kind of size as what we got going on right there. So all in all, that kind of gives you an indication. Now, just around the outside there, you can see that you've got a little clip thing going on, so you can pop it on your inside pockets or whatever else, so it's always to hand. You've got UPenn sitting on the top there, and then underneath there we do have the USB for charging. So it's a USB-B, much like the kind of the phones and stuff, not the USB-C though. Now then, once we do take the top off, oh, by the way, the top does mean that it kind of rattles about in there a little bit, because it just seals around this section here. It kind of does rattle about a little bit, which is a little bit of a shame, but no, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Clicks off with a nice satisfying little pop, and away you go. Now then, a couple of things to point out about this here tank here, and things that I really like about it. So first off, when it comes to filling, unlike the old school stuff that we used to use back in the day, you can fill this from the top, which I think is a really, really good thing. Remember all those times we're using, I mean, this is basically an ego. If you've been vaping for a long time, this is very kind of ego-ish, but it's kind of just brought up a little bit, in my opinion. The other thing you can see is, look at the size of these wick holes. We've got some pretty large wick holes going on there, which means that it makes it nice and easy for soaking in your higher VG juice. Now then, on this one, this is the 1.2 ohm coil there. Hopefully you can see that. There we go. My camera's better than I thought it was. And this is N80. So it's great the fact that they have actually put what material this coil is as well. Now then, when it comes to the extra coil that they do give you, let me just get this out of the package for a moment for you. The extra one that comes with it is also the N80 1.2. So we don't have any variation, but you can see the wicking holes on there. I mean, you can see probably easier on the one that I've just unbagged how big they are. So when it comes to your thicker juices and all of that sort of good stuff, then jobs are bloody good in my opinion. But it says nano on it, so I guess this is a new coil that they've come out with. Hopefully, I really, really do hope that we get to see these coils and these setups in a bunch of different shops, to be honest with you. But now then, as far as that goes, there's not really a great deal else to it. Obviously, you can unscrew the coil that comes out if you unscrew the whole thing. Basically, you take the top off, you unscrew the top, you can then take the glass off, and then you can unscrew the coil. And it's just dead easy to use. There's no messing about. It's not a dirty job to refill it. It's not a dirty job to use it. It just works. And then we've got 5 clicks to turn, or 3 clicks rather, to turn on the device, and you can see that we do have a little it does light up green, and obviously it will go red as your battery starts to die as well. So you know, all in all, that's it. It's crazy simple, but let's go up to the top camera. So coming up to this camera is I don't know how I'd feel about having that light on there. Hang on. Where's my thing? Where's my thing? Hold on. I've still got to get used to exactly which way around I want to do this, you know. I'm going to do that and some of that. Is that all right? Are we doable there? Got a little bit of shady on the face there. What? Hey. Now then. Let's just have a little vape. This is not going to be exciting. I'm not going to be blowing clouds for you right now, but let's just have a little toot on here. There you go. So, boom, there you go. Now then. It works. It's a proper mouth to lung, in my opinion, and it works really well. I mean, it's not the tightest in the world, but it's kind of like your silk cut tight. I don't know if that's a thing that translates around the world, but hopefully that will let people know. Now then, I can see that a couple of people in chat are also talking about the fact that, you know, well, what about bad press in schools and all this sort of stuff? And yes, I do understand that. I get that, absolutely. However, I think we're in this position now where you're not going to give a smoker a rage and say, right, off you crack, go on, get on with that one. That's not gonna get someone away from the cigarettes. At the same time, what do you give them? We've got things like the Breeze, which is here, which is all right, but it's big. It's not very heavy, but it is pretty big. It does a reasonable job, holds a reasonable amount of juice. They did miss a trick on this one because this top should have flipped open like a Zippo, in my opinion, but you know, and certainly that doesn't look like anything that it shouldn't do. But you know, if you're a, maybe, I don't know, female or male, it doesn't make any difference really. But if you are looking to get off the cigarettes, will you be looking at purchasing something like this, or will you be looking at purchasing something like this, which is significantly smaller and, you know, could potentially give you a better kind of experience? That's something that I think we have huge issues with. There's going to be arguments about stuff. I mean, there's going to be obviously with labeling. We understand that we can't encourage children by labeling. We also understand that children shouldn't be encouraged in any way to take up vaping. However, you know, there does have to be a responsibility on parents. We're looking at saving lives at the end of the day. We're looking to help people get off combustible tobacco and onto something that is, according to the Royal College of Physicians, at least 95% safer. So we're in that position where we've got something where we can help people, but we need to make it attractive, not to the negative people, but to the smokers. Now, also, when it comes to a number of devices, there could be an argument where, you know, some dual battery whatever with a big old monster sub-ohm tank on it is actually going to be more enticing to a youngster because they're going to be blowing out big clouds, so they get to show off to their mates. You know, there could be that argument. There could be, there's arguments to absolutely everything. However, where is the line drawn? And I don't think it's easy to figure out where that line should be drawn. At the end of the day, this does look like a pen. I get that, I understand that, and that's you know, we can't get away from that. However, it also looks like a sort of a proper little fountain pen, and I don't know, when I was a kid, if you went into school with a fountain pen, you get your ass kicked for being a nerd. But where does it stop? You know, where is that line drawn? Where do people go, you know, I want to get people off smoking, but I don't want to sort of have something that could be attractive. We know that the adults like vaping apple pie and custard or strawberry lemonade or, you know, whatever else. We know that. We know that the flavours aren't made for children. And so we say, let's have responsible packaging, right? And so shouldn't the same principles apply when it comes to packages? If we're providing juice for adults that help keep them away from stinkies because they're not nicotine flavor, they don't remind them of cigarettes. And you know, when I started to vape, it was my biggest thing about kind of finding out about cherry flavors and all this sort of stuff, because I enjoyed that way more than tobacco, and so that made me happy. Now, we don't we don't say, oh no, adults can't have that, because then we're kind of falling into the lap of the FDA and the people like that that's saying that we're marketing to youngsters by providing something. This to me is still, and it might not be the most popular thing, but this to me is still a device that's marketed as to an adult, for an adult, to get them away from cigarettes. I don't see there's any cool factor. You're not going to be blowing fat clouds from this or anything along those lines. But I think from a smoker's perspective, and that's where I'm coming from today. From a smoker's perspective, this could be absolutely bloody marvellous, in my little opinion. Let me just have a quick look at a couple of the messages in chat, because it's good to know your opinions. Now, if I'm glitching, if I'm doing weird things, then feel free to kind of refresh the page and see if that helps. Yeah, my playback is glitching like a monster. Is this glitching? Is the feed glitching, or is it okay? Let me know. Let me know. Anyway, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I smoked underage and brought them to school with me. I do know that kids are going to do the same thing with vaping. It's catch-22. Absolutely. It's one of those things that I used to smoke at school, and it didn't make any difference. Do you know what I mean? It didn't make no difference at all what it looked like I was going to smoke. I think I started probably smoking cigars at school as well. Train Sonic, pens, not child appealing at all. Lol, well, you know, I get that that's sarcastic, but what can you do? I was 12 when I started smoking. I'm 45 now, been vaping about 3.5 years. It works, absolutely. So, yeah. Sorry about the lag. If there's lag in this feed there, I can't really do anything about that. That's one of those things. But hopefully we're getting to the main sort of balls of this, and so we're getting there. My opinion on this is that, yeah, sure, we're in a position where we do have to be careful of what we market, for sure. I'm not going to argue with that, but we also need to get people away from cigarettes. And this, I think, could be a fantastic way of doing that, because it's so similar to everything else that you would handle in everyday life. It is a tough line, but like I said, where is that line drawn to kind of, you know, make things better? You know, what is the answer? And I think there's me and a bunch of other people that would love to know what the answer on that one is. So, all in all, ladies and gentlemen, it's just something I wanted to show you, because, you know, if you're watching this on playback, then please do leave your comments in the down below bit, because I would like to know what you think of this, because I think it's a great device. And as far as the device goes, it works really, really well. The flavour is really good. It's mouth to lung, and I've enjoyed using it. It's very, very old school. It's very, very ego-like, but it just seems to be updated a little bit. We've got the top fill. It can cope with thicker juices nice and easily, and hopefully, being Digiflavor, which is also Geek Vape, it's going to mean that your coils will be available all over the show. Now then, let me just have a little look and see if I can see how Digiflavor, what's it called? UPenn. Let's see how much it's going for, shall we? Right, Heaven's Gifts comes up first. GearBest looks like it's $29.90 in dollars, $29.90 on Heaven's Gifts as well. So, pardon me. So $30 is going to get you this and help you get away from cigarettes, maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed. But excuse me. This is something that, you know, I get the argument about, you know, what do we do, but what do we words. I get the argument about not getting something that's easy for kids to use, but when people are smoking in full packets of cigarettes, and, you know, when people are smoking kind of getting in all manner of other things in the schools, is the shape of it really going to deter a kid that wants to do it? I don't know. I don't know. It is something that is going to be down to the consumer at the end of the day. But if there is a product out there that helps get people away from smokes, then I'm all for it, to be honest with you. So yeah, there we go. I'm interested in your opinion, absolutely. But you know, have a thought about it. Don't just go, oh crap. Tell me why. Let me know the details. Let me kind of, if you don't like it, tell me why you don't like it. That's what really interests me. That's what kind of helps get me a different perspective. It's starting a conversation. I'm hopefully starting a conversation with you guys about this one. So please do let me know your thoughts, because all in all, I like this and I think this is great. I wish something like that had been an option when I started vaping 5 years ago. Absolutely, absolutely, because when I started 2011, if there'd have been something like this, I wouldn't have been vaping burnt coils for weeks on end and doing all sorts of damage to myself, because we didn't really have stuff that worked really well. So this does the trick for me. $30. I can see people in chat are showing that they've found it cheaper. Crack on. I think it does a grand job for what it's meant to do. So there we go. Not excessive, not excessive. And this is the other thing, you know, looking at, you know, how we're represented as vapors. It's not pumping out big clouds. It's not doing all of that sort of stuff, which is the kind of things that can put off smokers, you know. Have you tried vaping? No, I don't want to be blowing those big fucking clouds. You know what I mean? Well, you don't have to. I don't want them big ugly things. That looks ridiculous. Well, you don't have to. Boom. So, you know, whether you like this or not, I don't think we can argue with the fact that it works, and it works well. But it's just, where do we draw the line? And that's the question that I'm going to leave with you guys today. Where do we draw the line about designing of products to not make them, you know, child friendly? We could look at me pods. We could look at or me ones, or what me pods. We could look at any pod system. You know, anybody that brings a pod system out is going to fall under that same thing, presumably. And so, you know, where do we go? Where do we go? I want to see people getting away from cigarettes. That's what I want to see. And if something like this does that, and we just need to count on responsible parenting and whatever else, then, you know, I'm kind of all for it, I've got to say. Anyway, that's my opinion, guys. Please do leave your comments in the comments down below. I'd very much appreciate knowing exactly where you're coming from, exactly kind of what your thoughts are on this kind of thing, because I think it's pretty damn cool. And I will see you tonight. There is a Monday Night Live tonight, and Mr. Todd is going to be back with me. I've got a bunch of stuff that I've got to try and write up the notes for. I'm also going on Sir Vaping a Lot's channel just beforehand, about 8 o'clock, so I'll be going on there, I think, as well. So all over the place today. But on that note, what am I going to do here? Well, have I got an outro? I have got an outro. I don't know what it says, but let's give it a go. It's been ages since I've used it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you tonight, but otherwise, this has been the Digiflavor Upen. It's a lot harder when I can't fast forward this bit. Have it large.